taking a look at our writing our perpendicular lines, they can give it in the same different forms, but it's going to be pretty much the same process, except we're going to keep in mind perpendicular. All right. This one says the equation for line J can be written like this. A different line, K, is going to be perpendicular to this one and passes through that point. What is the equation for line K? So the equation that we're looking for is y is equal to mx plus b. Got to have a value for m, got to have a value for b. Well, we've got to get the information from that equation and that point. So looking at the equation, y is equal to x plus 10 over 7. We're going to get our slope from there. And remember, slope-intercept form is y equals to mx plus b. And if you look at the spot where we would normally find our slope, there isn't a number there. And when there isn't a number there, the number that is kind of understood to be there is going to be 1. So the slope for line J is going to be 1. They want us to write the equation for a new line that's going to be perpendicular. So the new line is going to be K. So I need the slope for line K. And remember, perpendicular means opposite, reciprocal. So if I'm looking at this and I do the opposite of it, well, this is a positive. Opposite of a positive is going to be a negative. But then to do the reciprocal, reciprocal means flip. And in order to flip, you've got to have a fraction. So to take a number and have it be a fraction, if all it is a number, is you put it over 1. So if I flip that, I end up with negative 1 over 1. And if I simplify, our new slope is going to be negative 1. So plug that into the equation we're working with, and y is going to be equal to negative 1 times x plus b. So I need a value for b. I can't use this one right there. That's our old equation. We need one for a new equation. So to get the new one, we're going to use our point. Remember, points are made up of x values and y values. So our y value is going to be negative 1 is equal to negative 1 times our x, which is 2, plus b. So negative 1 is going to be equal to negative 2 plus b. Add the 2 to both sides, and then b is going to be equal to a positive 1. But this isn't our answer because they say, what is the equation for line K? And when we're using an equation, we're doing the y is equal to m, and our slope that's perpendicular is negative 1x plus our b that we found, 1. And this isn't considered simplified. You've got to simplify that. Y is equal to negative x plus 1. Looking at the next example they can give us, this is called point slope form, but you can just take the point slope form and switch it. Looking at this problem, they want us to take this line Q and then use that to write the equation for line R, and line R is going to be perpendicular to line Q. And they want us to write the equation for line R. The equation for line R is going to be the y equals mx plus b. Got to have a value for m and b. We're going to get our slope, or our m, from this equation. So I'm going to switch it to slope-intercept form so I can get that. So to do that, I'm going to distribute the 2 to everything. Y minus 6 is equal to 2x minus 14. Because we did 2 times x for 2x and 2 times negative 7 for the negative 14. Add the 6 to both sides. Y is going to be equal to 2x. Negative 14 plus 6 is going to give us negative 8. So from there, we're going to get our slope. Y is equal to mx plus b. There's our slope. Slope for line Q is going to be 2. And they want us to write line R that's perpendicular. So I need my slope for line R, and I know it's perpendicular. So we're looking at opposite reciprocal. So opposite of a positive 2 is a negative, and then I've got to flip this, but it's just a whole number 2. So to flip it, I make it a fraction, put it over 1, and then if I flip the 2 over 1, it's going to become 1/2. So plug that in for my new equation, r. Y is equal to negative 1/2 x plus b. Need a new b. Got to use our x and y. There's our x, there's our y. So our y value is going to be 3 is equal to negative 1/2 times 10 plus b. Put it as a fraction so I can multiply. 3 is going to be equal to negative 10 over 2 plus b. Simplify. 3 is going to be equal to negative 10 over 2 simplifies to negative 5 plus b. Add the 5 to both sides, and b is going to be equal to 8. I'm not done. I've got to write it in the form of the equation of a line. So I'm looking at y is equal to, using that perpendicular slope, negative 1/2 x plus 8. I'm looking at the last one they gave us in standard form, and they say the equation of line Q is this. Line R is going to have this point, but it's going to be perpendicular to line Q. What is the equation for line R? We're looking for that y is equal to mx plus b, where we have a value for m and b. Got to find that value for the slope first, and we're going to get that from our equation. So I'm going to take that standard form equation, 2x plus 3y is equal to 12. Subtract the 2x from both sides. 3y is going to be equal to negative 2x plus 12, because there isn't a sign in front of it, so that makes it be positive. Divide both sides by 3 because it's just y equals mx plus b. There isn't a number in front of it. So I've got to divide both sides by 3, and y is going to be equal to negative 2x divided by 3 is negative 2/3 x, and then 12 divided by 3 is going to be 4. So we're looking for our slope, y equals mx plus b. So our slope is going to be the negative 2/3. So our slope for line Q is going to be negative 2/3. They want us to write line R, so we need the slope for that one is going to be, we're looking for perpendicular. So it's opposite over reciprocal. So opposite of a negative is a positive. If we reciprocate the 2/3 or flip it, we're going to have 3/2. Okay, so if we plug it in, y is equal to 3/2 x plus b. Need a value for b. Can't use our old one, we need a new one. So to get that, we use our point, x, y. So we're looking at negative 8 for our y is going to be equal to 3/2 times negative 3 plus b. Negative 8 is going to be equal to, put the negative 3 over 1 so we can multiply our fraction straight across. 3 times negative 3 is negative 9 over 2. 2 times 1 is 2 plus b. Add the 9/2 to both sides. And that's going to leave us with negative 7/2 is equal to b. But I'm not done because they say what is the equation of the line. So we're looking at y is equal to 3/2 x minus 7/2. And there's our equation of our line that's perpendicular to this one. Now when you do these problems in the practice, be very careful because in the practice they're going to switch back and forth between parallel and perpendicular. It's not going to do just all parallel and then a group of perpendicular. You've got to keep an eye out and make sure you're reading and you're very careful of whether you're doing the same or the opposite reciprocal.